Hi, it is Tina Stitches. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch and my life in general, but mostly cross stitch. It's been about 2 weeks since my last video. I believe I filmed in the middle of the week last time, so it's, you know, today is Saturday, the 26th of June, and June's almost over. I've noticed a few people are doing some mid-year WIP parades. That may be in the future. It may not be. I'm thinking about it. We'll see how life happens to allow me some time. Let's just say that. So, I am kind of organized, but I've had to move stuff because of dogs. And as you can see, I'm in my bedroom again because we have 2 extra people living in our house right now. One of them is living in my craft room. That's my oldest son, and he will be moving into his own place again in about a week. And my nephew is visiting again, and we put him out in the porch on the floor. And when my son moves, he's taking that bed. So the nephew will still be on the floor. That's okay. You know, we can cope with it. I'm trying to not have the glare in the glasses, but if it happens, it happens. Sorry. So, let me see. Welcome to anybody who's been here before and to anybody that's new. I hope you like what you see and stick around. You may hear noises because I got the guys outside doing outside work on the side of the house, which means there might be banging, which I'm expecting any minute now. My husband, and this will get into life update a little bit, but he is not mobile enough to do that kind of work right now, so he is cutting the grass on the riding lawnmower. It's not the greatest idea, and I will talk about that in life update, which I will share at the end, because it might get a little bit long and not everybody's going to want to hear that. So I am using the mic. Hopefully you can hear me and not the noises that are going on outside or the dogs walking around on the floor. If you do, I'm sorry. There will probably not be a lot of editing either because computer problems. I'm sorry. So, it is a very nice day outside, and I would like to be outside there with them, but those 2 people that just moved in had been out in the bush for strolls, and they brought unwelcome guests into my house, and so I am not very keen on going outside right now. Those unwelcome guests, and I've never seen one in all the years that I've lived here in this town. We have not had a problem, but now apparently it's a thing, and I'm gonna have to cope with it. But ticks, didn't want to have to deal with it, but they're here, and those guys have said they will not be walking around in the bush anymore. So anyways, yeah, that is not what you want to be hearing about. You want to hear about the stitching. What have I been doing? I know I made some notes. I did want to say thank you to anybody who shouted me out, but most importantly, I know Janet Jabber has shouted me out, so thank you. I think she even shared my Wherefore Art Thou piece by Mirabilia, which is in the other room, still not framed, but yeah, I shared it in a couple videos ago too. Yeah, so excuse me. It is very warm. I just want to make room over here for the water. And I'm in the second story of the house, so it's a lot cooler downstairs, but you know how it is when you film a Flosstube, you don't want people around. So I said I was prepared, but I'm not horribly prepared. I am just going to show you my WIPs. I had planned to work on things that were close to a finish, and I got two things mostly finished. One of them is a really big one. It's my second oldest WIP, or maybe even my absolute oldest WIP. I can look it up here. So I started it in early 2016. So it's my oldest WIP. It's older than Beloved, which I started in August of 2016. This is stitched on 28 count white cashel linen. I have a picture right here. Excuse me for zipper. This is what it will look like when it's finished. It's not a great picture because it is kind of faded. So I can't show you where I was last time because I'm not going to be editing. I have switched out to a bigger scroll frame, and I have started the beading. All of the stitching is done, and so it is beading time. And it's on a big scroll frame, not scroll frame, giant Q-snaps that are not Q-snap brand. And that's the half of the pattern. The only thing I haven't stitched is the medallion in the corner. And there's lots of beads going on in the girl. So far, this is all beaded. This is all beaded up to here. So there's some more here. There's a lot in here, and there's lots of beads. Streamers of beads to be put on. So this will take a while. I do find beading is very labor intensive, in that where I could stitch, say, that in an evening, just one section of beads would take a night, an evening. The same. This is going to take a very long time because there is a lot of beads. One thing that I am doing to save time is I have my own system for beading. and I will try to show it to you on this. So this is a gift card tin, and inside I've taken a piece of lint roller paper, and stuck it to the inside with the symbol of the bead. So all I need to do is use white thread or invisible thread if you want. I tend to use a color that is similar to the bead or the area I'm stitching, and use that for threading the bead. Because this design is almost all white, I'm using just a long length of white thread. Now, I have a magnet on the back. It's a needle minder actually. And what I'll do is I'll just put it there like that. And then I can pick it up easy enough. Top and the bottom of my gift card tin are covered with beads. And that's how I do that. I have one magnet to hold the chart, and I just go to town. I try to get as much done as I can, but you know how it is. That can just be put in my project bag just like that. This, I did want to have it finished by the end of June. I am not sure if I said beading and everything, but I got all the stitching part done, so I'm very happy with that. Crystal Christmas by Mirabilia, just in case I didn't tell you that. So one of the other projects that I worked on is because of seasonal stitching, and by that I mean the stitching the Mirabilia queens are seasonal. I'm not doing the queens, but there was a stitch along quite a few years ago, a couple of years ago, that was started by the Australian stitchers, Flosstubers, and what they were doing is stitching on their queen of the season in Australia. I didn't have the queens, but I had this other pattern that I really wanted to do, so I decided, why not? And I worked on it for only the one day, but it was the first day, actually it was the second day of summer. So I pulled out Dressmaker's Daughter by Mirabilia, and I'm working on them in the seasons of the Southern Hemisphere, which means I moved on from autumn to winter. And that's my chart. Just pull that out of there. This is stitched on 32 count something Belfast linen by Extra Designs. Lavender. I always forget. I don't have it. Sweet Lavender, 32 count, Belfast linen. And here's where I am. Not a lot. It was mostly that purple and a little bit of the greens. I don't know why the guys are inside, but they came inside. So, now, what else did I work on? I'm waiting to see if they go outside again. I'm sure we can find more work for them outside. Anyways, the next project that I'm working on, I will pull it out of the Q-snap. Because I am going to be needing this Q-snap for other stuff. Sorry. Prepared. Not prepared. Brought everything up here and then went outside and directed them on what they had to do. Apparently was not enough. But anyways, this is the Owl Forest embroidery Alice in Wonderland stitch along that I'm stitching on raw linen from my stash, which I don't know exactly the name of it. I'm pretty sure it's just raw linen. I have mostly kept up. It is not I still have a week before the next part is released, so I only just started this part Monday on my lunch hours at work, and I'm stitching this with my own conversion based on the Owl Forest DMC list. So we got Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, and some Threadworks. So this Threadworks color 1155 is what I've been working with recently for the door. There is going to be a key here and some other drink me bottles, and I'm gonna use a metallic gold for the key and for the watch and for possibly details on the door, because I like the metallics. So stay tuned for the updates. Wow. Words. So that's where it's at. Most of this I did in the car on the way to Thunder Bay, and this part I did in the car, same with Alice. I didn't realize this was supposed to come down further. I wasn't reading my page right, so I do have to finish this part as well. And I don't know how far this was supposed to go over. I didn't count it, and I figured, well, stop there, and then when I get back over there I can finish it. The needle minder is from Owl Forest. So what else have I worked on See, I focused mostly on Crystal Christmas, so it's like Crystal Christmas and Beloved. Those are the only two things that I worked on for the very beginning of June, for the first 3 weeks, basically. And Owl Forest Alice here and there on my lunch, and then on the weekends to catch up. Yeah. So, Beloved is next. I did not bring in anything to show you what the final picture should look like. I didn't even bring my phone in here. Oh yeah, I did. But anyways. So, when I last showed it, I had, I believe, the 2 pages on one side finished, and I don't have another page finished, but I do have significant progress. So here it is. So these are, now this was not fully finished, so that this page was completed. So there are, technically it's 3 pages, because this is the end of one, and then another, and then there's like 8 stitches on another page. So 2 full pages and a partial page over there. This was not filled in here, so I filled that in. And I filled in his hand a little bit more here. And I filled in this confetti here. Because normally I work from this side over top to bottom. And I knew that this confetti was going to drive me nuts, and that this area was kind of confetti, and it was higher, much higher than the rest of the piece. So I worked this down and then came over here. And my needle minder is one that I made myself. It's looking so good. So I think that is all of the WIPs. Don't have any new starts. No, I'm wrong. I picked this up because I do have another WIP. And I almost had it finished. I stopped one, but there was 2 on the way. Okay. I picked up my previous lunchtime project. Sorry for the zip. And I decided I need to get it finished because it's so close to being finished. Just pick it up, do it, deal with the colors, be done with it. So this project I probably had almost all the way finished for, well, since I started my other, too many projects to start. So about, I'm going to say 2 months. This has been sitting in the, you could have this finished soon, Bumblebee Fob by Sweetheart Tree. I had it up to the point of beading and doing the hardanger stitching in the middle here. I had thread out, like it was sitting beside my chair in my little tray of stitchy stuff that I keep beside my chair, and I pulled it out. I looked at the beading that was already there, and I thought, you know what, it's not that bad. I actually really like it. I like it a lot better than I would with the red. I know that. So I went ahead and finished, and I was unsure about which. There's two colors of beads. It's supposed to be red and it's supposed to be white. I didn't think red really went with this design, but I mean, it still works for this design. Like, there's no red in the stitching, but the beads themselves are red. And it was the year of the sunflower last year, and I wanted to put some yellow on this, but I had picked up some gold and some blue beads and started to stitch. And then I put it aside thinking, no, it doesn't go. And then I picked it up a couple days ago and thought, it looks absolutely beautiful. So here is what I have done so far. So all of the beads in this one are done, and the beads on this one are started, and the hardanger stitching is finished. Trying not to get a shadow, but it's perfectly fine. So I guess it was worth it to put it aside and take a break from it before I picked it up again, because now I'm perfectly happy with the blue and gold. So hopefully before the end of June this will be fully finished, because that was my goal, to get something finished in June. I may or may not get a Christmas Eve courier finished. I haven't touched one yet, but I was really good with Crystal Christmas. So I had watched somebody else, and they're working on on the Christmas Eve couriers, which is the reindeer series by Nora Corbett, and I started it in 2017, I believe, and I have 3 finished, so I have 5 more to go. So I really do want to get another one finished. There are 3 that are very close to finished, and 2, I guess, that are barely started. I don't know the balance of them exactly, but I thought if I picked up one of those ones that are so close to being finished, I could finish it. And somebody had posted on their video that they were using a Q-snap, that they had taken 2 different sizes and mashed them together to make a 8x11, which is the perfect size for Christmas Eve couriers. I had been using an 8x8, and it was, yeah, cutting off part of the stitching, so an 8x11 would be perfect, which is why I wanted to take Alice off the frame anyways, because I got a haul. And in that haul I got some more 11x11 Q-snaps, because it also turns out I also like 11x11. So now I'll have 2 11x8s and an 11x11. So I can have more stuff on frames. Yay! I don't have a lot of space. But oh well. So that's the plan, is to put those on a properly fitting Q-snap so that I can get decent progress on them. I want to make some grime guards. I did order some elastic, so that should be in any day now. And you know how hard it is to find elastic that is not ear loop elastic now? Crazy. Look on Amazon, it's like perfect for masks, and perfect for ear loops. It's like, I don't want flimsy elastic. I don't want soft elastic. I want really stretchy elastic. So I found what I hope is going to work. Should be lots, so I should be able to make a couple of grime guards. So that's plans. Now things are sliding again. Like I said, I got haul. I didn't bring the Q-snaps out because you know what Q-snaps look like. And fabric and threads. So some of this fabric was on sale, so I was like, I like a good sale. So I grabbed it. I grabbed beads and DMC that I had on a list. Am I the only one that when I notice I'm running low on a color, I start a list? Or if I'm kitting up a project, I have a list and then I go and get all the threads. And a few threads, I'm like, those are going to be low. Get some more. So, DMC to replenish stock. The fabrics that I got, I thought were going to be a little more mottled, but they're very lightly mottled, if they're even mottled at all. This one is 32 count vintage tarnished silver linen. So you can see a mottling here. But in real life, it's very, very faint. So that one I'm not sure what I'm going to put on it, but I got a big piece. I think that would be, I'm not sure about the terminology, but I think that's a fat half. 27 by 36. It's kind of a mauve, purpley kind of color. And then I got 32 count earthen Lugana. By Picture This Plus. And this one is definitely mottled. It's got a little bit of a peachy kind of tone to it. So I'm not sure. This is one that I bought with no plans. But I really like the I really like the modeling. It's distinct. You can tell. And this one is 32 count honeysuckle linen. And this one is a fat quarter, 17 by 26. And it's a Weeks Dye Works. It's supposed to be an overdyed, but I don't see any modeling. So that's okay. What I have planned for this is the Alessandra Adelaide honeycomb bee pattern that was released a couple of months ago. I don't have the pattern, but it is brighter yellow than that. It is not quite as bright as my room, which may be what's throwing it off, but I also got a cone of white DMC. And that is because I've tried dyeing fabric, so why not my own floss? And why buy it by the skein if you're just going to dye it? So I bought a cone. Made sense to me. I also bought most of the silks that are required for 2 patterns, because why not? And I figured these colorways are probably going to overlap for usage, so I got, and this is, I think I was considering using earthen for this pattern. I already had it, Jeanette Douglas Blooming Bouquet number 4, beautiful. Bright reds. And there's the floss. I believe the yellow is one that they had listed as a substitute, because whatever yellow they had in the pattern might not be available. I didn't get into the details on that, but so we got Classic Colorworks Beanstalk and Vanilla Pudding, Gloriana Lemon Ice, and then Thread Gatherer Silken Colors, and we got Mississippi Mud, Rose, Briar, and Raspberry. So those are for that one. And I also got most of the silks required for Strawberry Stitches, another Jeanette Douglas design that I was going to do for June Magazine Monthly Challenge. Stitch something from a magazine. And so I guess I should start it before the end of June. And the theme was summer. So I wanted to start Strawberry Stitches. And I did not have any of the thread. I am substituting one from my stash, and that's the antique brass. But the others that were required are Worn Brick Path Apples and Oak Leaves and Sunflower by the Thread Gatherer. And then this Wool by Gentle Arts Maple Syrup. So they didn't have any of the greens, but I think that I can look at my Royal Tudor Mandala Chatelaine and see if I can maybe pull out of that, because I think I've done the green section. And I had a piece of 32 count Belfast cream that I can use for that, so I should throw this on a Q-snap and start it. And that's what the beads were for as well. When I opened it up, the package yesterday, I was like, uh-oh, did I order these yellow beads for the Bumblebee fob because of the sunflower year? But then I went over the requirements list for the strawberry stitches, and this is used in that. So that's where that goes. So that's it for the stitching and haul. And now for a little bit of life update. So about 7 weeks ago now, we had to do some digging in the yard to accommodate a line, electrical line to go to the garage. And so digging a trench basically. And the trench was mostly dug. We had to dig it down a couple more inches. And so my husband, myself, my 2 sons, we were all out there digging and got it most of the way done. And then the next day, my husband took my youngest son out to work, came back, and then ended up collapsing. He had a sharp electrical jolt through his lower back, and his legs gave out. So ambulance was called. He went to the hospital. I couldn't go with him because of COVID and such, and they didn't do any x-rays. They told him it was probably pinched nerve, go home, take some Tylenol, rub some Voltaren on it, take it easy. A week later, no improvement. He went to the clinic, he went to his family doctor, and the family doctor, well, he went to whoever could see him, and the doctor there was not at all impressed with the way he was treated at the hospital, and they did more exams, and really not a lot more information, like diagnosis was done at that time, except that they did give him some muscle relaxants to help. But they told him, if you lose any functions in the groin area, if you can't pee, if you can't have a bowel movement, all that stuff, immediately come to emerge. Okay. 3 weeks had passed after that, and he had a follow-up appointment. So his follow-up appointment with his doctor, who did see him on his second visit, he did pop in the room and check on stuff. And his doctor said, "You're not getting any better. This isn't right." And said he's losing muscle mass in his legs now. He cannot walk. He is using a cane. Well, he's using a crutch. There's the other crutch. He uses a crutch, like a cane. He had got a cane from his mom, but it's not the right kind of support for him. He can't put the crutch under his arm, because that means he has to be fully upright, and he can't do that. So he's walking around hunched over, using a crutch for support. He hasn't been any better. So the doctor sent him, he said, "I'm sending you for an MRI, and we're going to get this done within 10 days. You have to get it done." So the next, probably a day later, he got an appointment, and that appointment was in Thunder Bay. We're 4 hours north of Thunder Bay by car. So he had the appointment for a Sunday evening at 9:30. I work Monday, and that's when we decided, okay, we'll bring our nephew back, because he was in Thunder Bay. We'll bring the nephew back so he can stay with us for a little while, because we're going to be going back and forth to Thunder Bay, so we'll take him back when we're tired of him. Anyways, he went in for the MRI. I was on virtual stitchers, and I want to say thank you very much for keeping me company, Belinda, and there were a few other people keeping me company then. And so the results of the MRI was the technicians came out and told him, "You don't have to, but we strongly suggest that you go to emergency right now. Your spine is narrowing. It's narrowed," whatever that means. So he went to emerge, and he sat in a room while the doctor was going back and forth talking to him, and then going and talking to a neurologist, neurosurgeon. She'd come back in, she'd ask him some questions, go back. So she said that the neurosurgeon was to see him in his office, and he said, "I have to go home." So he came home, and a couple days later we got the appointment for the neurosurgeon. So the neurosurgeon we went to on a Thursday, so that was Sunday. Went to the surgeon on Thursday, and he has 2 discs that are protruding and squeezing his spinal cord so hard that that's why he's losing all the feeling in parts of his legs, and he has pain in the one leg and such. So again, warned, if anything goes numb, anything stops working, you can't feel when you have the urge to go, you go to emerge right away. We are doing the surgery right now. But it is requiring surgery, and so that is going to be happening July 19th. As long as things don't get worse. So they're going to go in and make a little incision. It's all going to be done with micro tools and microscopes, and they're going to trim away the disc that's impeding the most, and hopefully that will give him some relief. So what that means is this summer is a bust as far as doing any of the work on the house, going out on the Can-Am or kayaks or any of that stuff, no go. The surgeon said that after the surgery he might feel like he'll be able to do all that stuff, but does not suggest it at all. So I have a big pile of siding, big pile of styrofoam, and a house that needs all this stuff. So it is what it is. All that means, honestly, is that I get to pay this stuff off and we're not incurring more expenses. So that's the way I look at it. The house has been standing for this long the way, well, not exactly the way it is, but we've improved on it so far, so it will be fine. So aside from that, co-worker at work has decided to retire and gave a week's notice. Technically 2 weeks, but she had next week booked off for vacation, so yay. Can't say, I mean, I can't say I blame her, because I did the same thing when I moved over to this job, except that I moved for another job. I did that for another job. Retiring is kind of a, we kind of thought we'd get months notice, but whatever. That's fine. Puppies are doing good. We had a wicked storm. A wicked storm. And that was Wednesday. Was it Wednesday night? I think it was Wednesday night. It was just all of a sudden 15 minutes of wicked wind and rain and hail and trees uprooted. I have a tree in the corner of my yard and the top of it snapped off. Didn't touch the house. It landed along the fence line, so it didn't impede traffic. It's not in the road or anything, so maybe I can pull up the pictures. But the worst part of it is that our highway, the power lines along the highway, trees had gone down on the power lines and snapped it across the road. And so there was about 5 poles where the lines were just ripped right off. So that's missing the top of the tree because it's down here, and it's actually in 2 pieces. It had forked off and grown up, and one piece is up this way and the other piece is this way. So I just had them out there earlier to have them lay on the ground instead of leaning up against the trees. My neighbor in the house right over there, she came over and she said, I watched it from my kitchen window. The tree was just going this way and that way and then down. So, yeah. And there's a lot more damage to some other places. So, they've actually declared a state of emergency. There was no power here for a day. There was power at work on Thursday. They had it restored in certain areas Thursday night or Wednesday night. Certain areas were restored, which meant I could go to work. Which, why not? There's no power here. And so went to work. Some people living on rural roads still didn't have power until Friday at lunch. So, yeah, excitement. Yay. Really don't need that kind of excitement, but there it is. Yeah, that's all that I got. I am going to turn this off and probably go outside and do some more work. I will try to get this into editor, do a little bit of editing, and then upload it. So it could take a while. So next time you see me, I should have a fob finished. I should have strawberry stitches started. That's all I can promise right now. Okay. Until next time, happy stitching. Take care. Bye.